Yo, now y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, MM2K of PNTS Network and Cloud Dosage, back again with another SLS featuring MM2K. Yes, we are back with an open mic. I know we didn't have one last week. We premiered new content last week, which is coming back this Friday. Warning, the bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. Yeah. It sure is. Let me do something. Here. I got something wonky going on because I forgot here. I'm gonna temporarily pause this stream, but don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. I'm gonna. Okay. We are back. He said the cloud refugee. Shout out to Cold Blood Sensei in the house. Oh man, he just don't never give up, man. It's my brother. Cold Blood Sensei in the house with his hate as usual. He says the Cloud Refugee Podcast. Golly, bro. Like why? Why you gotta be so cold, man? I understand it's in the name and everything, but god damn it, do you gotta be that cold 24/7, Cold Blood? Nah, shout out to my brother Cold Blood Sensei. Through the whole ups and downs of Stadia, through the whole ups and downs of my platform period. Cold Blood, I'm not pouring no liquor. I'm just pouring some tea. Cold Blood's always been there, man. So that's what he was one of the first trolls here on the platform. He used to get everybody all mad over Stadia. And I had to tell the community, let him rock, man. Y'all gotta learn how to deal with this stuff. Let's just say if Stadia didn't get sacrificed to the gods and it was still around, or I mean it's still around, but if it was going to remain, if it would have became a major platform, you guys wouldn't have made it. Like the little comments that Cold Blood Sensei put out there here and there, just to mess with y'all and poke fun, it's nothing compared to the obliteration that people will do. They will dox you. They will do memes and all this other stuff. So Cold Blood's been with me pretty much since the beginning, and that's my bro. And hey, let's get some music on. Let's do that. And Cold Blood and I were having a slight conversation earlier as I was testing other platforms out, and I was testing out my old Twitch channel, and he says to me, I had made a comment about like, look, I'll be here more often, playing all types of platforms. Said that, I got nothing else better to do. I can't be capping for Stadia anymore. And he said, haha, capping for Stadia. But here's the thing, honestly, and I'll bring up Stadia in this instance, and we're going to get right into like the cloud news and everything. No, Stadia was awesome. Stadia was something that allowed me as a content creator and a streamer, again, get rid of friction. I know that sounds like a cheesy word, but no, it's serious. Like, and Cold Blood was it. The irony is Cold Blood was there. Trying to play games natively when you're a streamer can be a pain in the ass if you're not a big streamer and got people throwing all types of money at you. Just trying to get 1080p 60 with a 2070 card was a strain for me. And Stadia alleviated all that. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. When I first picked it up, right? And all the things that Gene, what was his name? Gene, whatever, from Washington Post, and all that crap that other people were saying when it wasn't true. I was amazed. So because of that, it was important for me to continue to talk about the platform, talk about the truths about the platform, and then just introduce it to people who may have been interested in it. The whole key was, it was not to convert everybody to play Stadia. If Google was actually in it to win it, you know, at the very end, there wouldn't have been a very end. They would have said the same thing that Microsoft said during the CMA response, and we're going to get into that. Cloud gaming in a lot of ways is immature. It's years before, you know, I mean, the psyche, it's everything. Even though I don't like Microsoft, he's a cloud refugee. That is fire. That is fire, simpleton. I might have to take that and don't give him no damn royalties for it. That is fire. What's up, simpleton? Good to see you. Yeah, like they've been saying everything that I've been saying for the past 2 years. This is not going to be an overnight thing where cloud gaming just takes over the mind, soul, and body of the mainstream. If you're a cloud gamer who finds use for gaming that way, then great. Enjoy it. Hope that it grows and advertise it to those who might find benefit as well. But under no circumstances should any of you believe that any of these companies have the silver bullet that they're just waiting to release to make cloud gaming mainstream. Google was a big name, but it was ridiculed. But the biggest name out there that promoted cloud gaming, and I don't have to sell you a console, and we're going to reach 3 billion gamers. When the truth serum was released, they told you that cloud gaming is not ready for prime time yet. And it won't be a while. They told you. So that lets you know. Because look, I'm going to tell you one thing. One thing that people should understand, and I know, and I get a lot of cloud gamers are new to this. So you guys will be sitting there listening to different people talk about certain things, and you'll get all engrossed and wrapped up in the conversation because, like what I always say, and I got this from Z, fiction is a lie is more entertaining than the truth, right? But here's the thing that isn't being realized here. Even though y'all sitting there listening to this different stuff, you're basing it off of emotions and feelings that you get from somebody advertising something. But these Fortune 500 companies, they will lie to you, no problem. You're simply a catalyst to the investor. They're going to lie to you. They're not going to lie to a regulator. They may try to play semantics with a regulator, but they're not going to lie to a regulator. So everything that you're hearing right now exposes the pace, the offerings, and all that stuff that you can expect to see, not from just Xbox, but from the general cloud gaming platforms. If anybody next to Google and Amazon have a lot of data on where the average consumer is, the rate of growth, and what their mind state is, if anybody has that data next to Amazon and Google, it's Microsoft. And so for them to take that truth serum and talk, that doesn't mean that cloud gaming is doomed. No, it's not that. It's that as a cloud gaming enthusiast, we have to be self-aware, and we got to understand that this is niche. Niche isn't bad, and that is going to take some time to grow. But understand that you are founders on the forefront of something that's going to be amazing. That's really going to help a lot of gamers get access to something that they couldn't before when it was tied strictly to devices. So, I really hope that people understand that. We're going to be talking about that here when we get to the CMA section of all this. You know what I mean? But I think it's important for people to understand that, again, cloud gaming is in its infancy. It's going to take some time to get out of there. But when it does, it'll be very beneficial to a lot of gamers. You know what I mean? All right. So, and a lot of potential gamers. All right. So I'm going to put this there. Do us a huge favor, tweet us out. Let everyone know that we are live. Here, back over here. All right. I think we're in a good spot. Let's finish off reading these comments. Cold Blood Sensei says, thank you, Simpleton. Yeah, I'm still it. I ain't giving them no royalties. Donnie Jet back in the house. Donnie, you writing any more letters to kill by Google? Donnie says, the only game I played on xCloud was Fortnite. The experience was pretty good in response. Yes, that's exactly where I'm coming from too, Donnie. When I played Fortnite on xCloud, now granted, my atypical experience with xCloud was very mediocre. To be honest with you, as far as performance was concerned and the experience, I would say for me, but that's why there's more contributors to Cloud Dosage than me, because it's different for other people. But for me, the experience was very mediocre. And it did not have me walk away excited. That was until I played Forza on the phone. And I want to say Forza on the phone was very, very enlightening. Wasn't like Stadia good or GFN good or anything like that. But it was enlightening to see that the experience could get better. So Forza on the phone, Forza 5, right? I think that's the last Forza game. Forza on the phone was fantastic. Now I played Forza. Oh. Now what else did I play? I also played hold on. Okay. I'm just checking something. What else did I play? I played I not only played Forza, but then I played Fortnite. That's what I was looking for. I played Fortnite. When I played Fortnite on xCloud, I was wired. Mind you, I was wired. But when I played it there, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, it felt responsive. There wasn't a whole bunch of lag. I almost won the game. Now, I think I was playing against a whole bunch of bots, mind you. But I definitely was excited by my experience that I had with Fortnite. I don't even like the game. It just left me thinking, damn, why can't I get, why can't, if this is the experience that I could get with all games on xCloud, man, that would be awesome. So, I mean, I know they're not standing still, they're working on stuff. Hold on, let me see something. Just trying to check something real quick. Let me just check some things. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, wow, I didn't even all right. We'll put that there. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, I didn't realize that the on PC experience could be so good. And I was shocked. I was pleasantly surprised and I was shocked. And I'm hoping that can become the experience across the board. In worst case scenario, that's not the apex. In worst case scenario, that should be the lowest or worst it should get, because that's playable. it's playable and it's enjoyable. So I'm there with you, Donnie. I played that, and it was the best experience that I had via xCloud playing on my PC. And you can't really embed yourself in the cloud gaming stratosphere and springboard from that group of gamers unless you've locked down the three major components, and it's at least enjoyable at all three. Those three are mobile devices, TVs, PCs, and laptops. You gotta have, you know what I'm saying? And they can't be expensive devices too. You know, once you got a good hold in all three of those pillars, then you have a good cloud gaming platform. So we're hoping to see, at least for me in my experience, xCloud get better. All right. Also, don't forget, we got a poll up here. We got about 12 votes. What platform have you played the most recently? And right now, as things are going, we have xCloud at 25%, Geforce Now at 25%, Amazon Luna at 8%, and then other is at 42%. So that may be like, it could be Stadia. If I would have had an extra space, I would have put Stadia out there. I'm still curious to see how many people are playing Stadia regularly. I play it semi-regularly. Like I fire up Madden on there. Later this week, we have a very interesting episode of Cloud Streaming Diagnosis. That's the new show. So we got an interesting episode of Cloud Streaming Diagnosis coming up. And when that comes up, we're going to be comparing two platforms on a particular game. And one of those platforms is Stadia. So we'll be digging back into Stadia later this week. But if I could have, I would have added Stadia there. But 42% is other. Mostly Martina says Jensen Huang seems to be very interested in cloud and pushing it forward. I don't know who's Jensen Huang. You have to inform me. I'm not sure that was. Simpleton says the platform worked. The tech provided low cost access to gaming. Google had no appetite to provide a service as a business, as they just wanted to build the tech, let other provide a service to gamers. Let me respond to that in 1 second, but I forgot to tweet this out. Let's see here. Out. Let's get it out there. All right. Yeah. I don't. I'm there with you, Simpleton. I think a better way to describe it would be they didn't have the stomach to stick with the slow grind. Like, have you ever bought a game? Let's describe it this way. Have you ever bought a game, right? And you were like, and you bought the game used. Because it's a game that you're like, oh, it really like piqued your interest. It intrigued you. And you wanted to play it, right? But then it just sat there because it didn't move things the way that you expected it to. So it just sits there. And as soon as another opportunity presents itself, that game that you were like, oh yeah, I'm glad you snatched it up way back when. As soon as another opportunity that moves you a little bit more comes abroad, and another opportunity that is, you grab that game that you never even played. You didn't even pop it in the disc. You grab it in, maybe it was $16.99 or something, $17.99, and you're like, all right, let me put that towards getting this new game that's flashier and more exciting. That's basically what Google did with Stadia. They got into cloud gaming because they needed to. They still need to. They got into cloud. They need to because market-wise, all of their competitors are at the top of the stratosphere gaming or cloud gaming wise. Oh, no, not cloud gaming wise, but in those particular business sectors, they all have cloud gaming in their portfolio. Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and Google. They all have it in their portfolio. Now, all of them, except for Microsoft, have streaming platforms. Facebook is still chugging along with theirs, right? So all of them have what's it called? Except Xbox. Xbox dumped Mixer, but that's okay. Because even though Xbox dumped Mixer, they just went all out with Game Pass. See, what they were wanting to do with Mixer was like Google and Amazon, is they wanted a streaming platform that was big and powerful that they could merge their cloud gaming service with, and that'll be the quick way to their billion gamers. Google had that, they let it go. Amazon still has it, and they haven't let go yet. So Xbox just doubled down on name recognition and making Game Pass a stellar deal, and that's how they're going to, and buying stuff up. Buying up game companies to make the subscription service honest. And that's the route that they've taken. Google, on the other end, from if the information that was given that have come my way is correct, there's no more white labeling. They've settled with a handful of partners. Those are the only handful that are going to get access to this tech. It's going to be very interesting to see which deals remain. Hopefully all of them, but you never know, things change. And hopefully these companies are paying them a pretty penny. But being a back-end provider to a limited number of companies isn't like doing the service, doing the work on your own. And what I feared is going to happen for Google is that because they didn't stick it out with this, the rest of their competitors are going to blow up when this blows up. And they're going to be SOL because they could never step back in this arena again. They're done. They're done. As a matter of fact, like I want to say for the first year or so, anybody that partners with them in where Google is like extremely visible, that will hurt their product. Because people are like, I'm not going to invest in this. What if Google gets tired of doing this? Even though this is a business thing, but we don't trust Google at all. And again, I'm not wishing that to happen. That's how gamers think. As asinine and as siloed as that might be, that is what it is. And Google has a problem with understanding how to navigate the field as it is. They want to prophesize to you and force things to be the way that they think they should be. And that doesn't work with consumers when it comes to gaming. It may work with notebooks and tablets and phones and apps. It may work with that. It does not work in gaming. You have to go with the current with gaming. We've just seen recently what happens when someone tries to force their own narrative. We've seen it first with the PlayStation 3. Oh, just get 2 jobs. What? And what the PlayStation 3 was, it was the first attempt to shortchange having to deal with multiple generations. The cell processor was to be powerful enough to do multiple generations. It was just so complicated in nature that, the current generation that it was for just scoffed at it at first, but it picked up steam later, and then we saw with the Xbox One, Xbox tried to force its narrative, its TV narrative, even though they had games and stuff like that, but they tried to force a narrative with DRM, and you got a limited amount to trade games. And when we look back at it now, when we look at the fact of how much we've accepted DRM today, and we look back at what Microsoft was trying to do, you could share your games with up to 9 people. What? I mean, there was a lot of crazy perks that were there. When we look back at it, if somebody does it, they might go, damn, we forgoed all that, but it doesn't matter. The currents omitted from the gamer were not headed in that direction. And that's Google's problem. Google sat there, I think, looked at certain data, misinterpreted it, and said, we believe this is how things will shake out because this is what makes sense to us. And that's why at the beginning, even though they were expecting something as lofty as 1 million active users in 14 months, which is insane for a cloud platform that isn't psychologically proven, where the whole genre isn't psychologically proven to gamers at that point. You don't do enough advertising to bridge that gap. And then, you realize, okay, like as Microsoft said to the CMA, this technology is immature in a lot of ways as far as providing the things that dedicated device gamers are looking for. And the psyche of the gamer isn't there yet. So this is going to be a long grind. When you realize that was going to be the case for you, then you kind of looked at it like I just gave in that scenario, like the game that, excited you at first, but maybe because you don't see a lot of people playing it, maybe you've lost the excitement for it yourself. And now you don't feel that attached to it anymore. Yeah, you're still sitting there and you did some things, brushed it off, cleaned off the case and did some things. But over time, it's lost its attachment from you. And the first thing that came to where you could barter that, you took. Microsoft wouldn't have done that. Nobody else would have done that. So that's how I feel. That's how I describe what Google did. And I hope for them they figure out a way. Again, this is not me hoping or, am I disappointed that Stadia is closing down? Yeah, but look, I've been gaming for 35 plus years. Stadia is not the first platform that closed down on me that I was, excited to play. Just go look at the history of consoles, right? But the logic behind it and how it was handled is where a lot of people have heartburn. But when I look at this, from an analyst point of view, I'm baffled on how they plan to come off better in the long term from this. I can see in the short term where it's better, but I'm thinking long term. And this isn't something to where like for instance, let me give you a prime example. If Amazon, and knock on wood, if Amazon were to say, you know what, maybe we started this a little bit early. We're kind of shutting down Amazon Luna, we're suspending Amazon Luna indefinitely, right? With the hopes that they focus on Amazon Prime Gaming, the studios, and let's just say they come back in 3 or 4 years. Amazon can do that. Facebook can do it. Microsoft could even do it. Google can't. They just can't. And I think part of that is because you have so many smart people under one culture that they start creating their own reality. Yes, facts are a thing, but you have to take facts and habits, and you got to balance your approach to both. And I think Google's problem is they look at facts and they say, well, logically, people should want to do. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to understand psyche. For a data company, I'm very confused on why when it came to gaming, they had a hard problem doing that, because there's so many examples out there to tell them what to do. I'm gonna throw another tasty tidbit out there. One of the frustrations for Google is that they used the data and they thought that there was going to be outcome A, B, and C, but the outcome was always LMNO, QRS. It never matched their predictive analysis. And that frustrated them. They could never get a stranglehold, they feel, on the movement of gamers under this. They could never know, all right, this is going to be a success or this ain't going to, you know what I'm saying? They never knew that. Everything was a surprise to them. So that created a lot of heartache for a company that in so many ways they can predict certain habits. But I think a lot of that could have been curtailed if that was such a pain in the chest, by talking. There's just certain things that data cannot provide. You have to get boots on the ground, and there just wasn't enough boots on the ground. There was just but this, that, and this, that. Like every time I've talked to a great number of Google people, to when I was perplexed by a certain activity, it was always thrown back at me, well, this is the logical thing to do. And that might be true, but gamers aren't logical. And there is a predisposed pattern when what you got to do is you got to understand the current temperature and then look at the movement, and then you can see what's moving gamers at that time. And it changes every 6 to 12 months. But just looking at data, if your analysis doesn't incorporate that, or your algorithm doesn't incorporate that, then you better get your ass up off your chairs and get boots on the ground and talk to people. There's nothing like engagement that can help somebody understand something to where something needs to be tweaked. Trust me, as an analyst in certain regards myself, you got to talk to people, especially when we would send out solicitations for something on behalf of our clientele. And the upper management would always come to me and say, you know what, this solicitation didn't garner the response that we were looking for. And I would say to them, doesn't surprise me at all. And they would be taken aback, like, what? Because we talk to these people. One of my groups is the call center. We talk to the people, and we can tell you by habit what's going on. Did you look at the call center notes that we sent, the database, the conversations, the subject matters that predominate in our database? Oh no. That's because you think you're too damn smart for your own good. You're sitting in your high office with all of your resources at hand, and your thought process does not mirror the demographic. So you can't pre-guess this. You have to get your hands dirty, quote unquote. Put down your elitist pinky. You have to get your hands dirty, and you got to get in the field with the people. When your data is bad, and that's one thing that Google definitely didn't do, is they didn't get in the field. So enough. They didn't get in the field enough. So it is what it is. With that being said, and it wasn't and don't get me wrong, the issues with Google were not solely, I'm not doing a 180 here where I'm blaming Google for everything. I still believe it's like 60-40. 60% of it is, what's the media? The media had an agenda to misinform, to spread lies, and they were effective in it. I think Google ultimately just did not understand what was needed and didn't understand the importance of sticking with it for X amount of time to get out of that. But I still, it's still 60-40. And it used to be 70-30, but I bumped it up 10% on Fulton, 10% more with Google when I found out that they wanted 1 million active users within 14 months. I said, how? I mean, I look back at the things that they've done and I said, how? How are you going to get there? Oh, well. All right, let's continue on. When I was back in Motherland, Russia, 2021, I couldn't play Stadia or xCloud because both don't exist over there. Yeah, and I get it. And of course, it's going to suck. The experience is going to suck because it's not over there. Gamers Dusty says, not cloud, but Switch and mobile. Gamers are trying to finish their games on Stadia before the shutdown. Oh, Jensen Huang is the CEO of nvidia. Very interesting. I don't know if there's any more new material. Mostly Martinez. Okay. But I recently read an interview with Phil Heisler with PC World, I think it was. And as much as they're moving forward with cloud, their ceiling on cloud seems to be lower than everybody else. Like everybody else wants cloud to be a solution to get them away from hardware. They want to be hardware agnostic. NVIDIA doesn't look at cloud gaming that way. They look at cloud gaming as something to supplement your gaming needs if you can't afford or if you can't access the card, but ultimately they want you to get that card. So they're all gung-ho about the hardware. So it's a little different with NVIDIA, but yes, they feel like to where consumers they can't reach, they can reach more consumers using cloud technology. It just the question is, with all of the resources that they're dumping into cloud and the powerful output and things like the 3080 tier, the question will be, are they seeing on the revenue side what they need to see to get that? Is that spillage from those that can't afford or access the hardware? Is it enough for them to stay in it? You know what I'm saying? That's what we'll see, because they definitely have an excellent product. I mean, if you're a PC gamer in general, and you can't again afford flat out, and you're just saving your chips, or you just can't access, the GFN 3080 tier is just calling to you. It's calling you, man. It's calling you. It's a great platform. Now, for general cloud gamers, it depends. I'm enjoying it because it is so much better than it was at launch. A lot better. Like, I can't even explain how much. Like, wow. And everybody was so hung up on Stadia, including me, that when we heard things about the 3080 tier, I think we were like, because for a lot of us, it priced itself out of our grasp, right? But the 3080 tier, as far as output, I mean, if you have the wherewithal financially, and you have some familiarity with PC gaming, it's definitely worth it. You know what I mean? Like, even if you have, like, I have a 3070, even if you have, it's so much worth it because I can get very close to that 3070 experience in a lot of ways. A lot of ways it's better than my 3070. I can get very close to that experience without it taxing on my hardware, and it makes my streams even more better. Like I got a like my 1440p streams, we finally got them tweaked where they're excellent. Check out our last Cyberpunk stream on on Cloud Dosage streams. And man, oh man, oh man, I'm gonna tell you just the power of the 3080. I have a quality stream series. If you guys know what that is, that's me, where I take video games and I bump them up so high as far as fidelity and bitrate is concerned. It's unbelievable. We did that with a game on the 3080 tier, and I think you guys are going to be amazed. It's going to take some time to process. It's how high this bitrate is. It's going to take some time to process. It should be ready by Friday. I uploaded it last night. It'll be ready Friday. You guys are going to enjoy it, and that's just the wonders of the 3080 tier. But yeah, nvidia has a very interesting approach when it comes to all this. I mean, I'm for it. I mean, you can't always be everything to everybody. Like Stadia wasn't everything to everybody. You can't be everything to everybody. You slice out your demo and you attack that demo, you know, relentlessly, and keep giving them stuff to keep them happy. And I think 3080 tier does exactly that. For the enthusiast PC gamer that doesn't have access to the cloud, doesn't have access to the hardware for whatever reason. And I think that there's spillage into, you know, a lot of the refugee Stadia gamers, where if you financially have that time, because there was a certain performance aspect, like it was a balance with Stadia. Like some people didn't mind 30 frames per second. Some people didn't mind the native 1080p in the upscale 4K. I think those people, and to them it was more about convenience and availability and convenience and price. I think those people should still give it a try. Definitely. You never know. Sometimes you don't know what you want until you try it. Like you could have never told me 4 years ago that downloading games would be such a hassle to me. Like I didn't care. I had all types of hard drives and stuff ready to do. I didn't care. It wasn't until I actually played cloud gaming on a consistent basis when I got access to Stadia that I realized that I really did hate downloading games. So sometimes you don't know what you need until you actually get it. So I bet can go give it a try. All right. Geek to Sneak in the house. Good to see you, Geek. Facebook Gaming closed too, didn't it? Oh, I don't know. Did Facebook Gaming close? From what I understand, Facebook Gaming closed their app, but it's doing everything on the Facebook main app. Oh, okay. All right. I'm waiting for Stadia expose article to come out, and I'm waiting to see what shakes out with this white labeling thing. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm waiting to see if, well, here's the thing, Dust. It's going to be a long time coming before all this stuff comes out. Like you're going to hear from, I hate to use this term, but low-level employees that aren't part of the decision-making process. It's going to spill some things that they're going to know about, but you got to understand that they're not connected to everything. Okay, just because you're an employee somewhere doesn't mean that you're sitting in the room with the managers, HR, PR, legal, when a lot of these big decisions are made. They know more than me and you, but the things that they do know, now they can tell you about some things that are happening atmospherically, like how the atmosphere was, you know what I'm saying? Some things about the culture, but I don't expect anytime soon any factual exposure. You're going to see some people try. Like they're going to get some low level, like first level manager that really doesn't know a whole bunch. And they're going to give their take, and it's going to have a certain aura to it. But those aren't the people that you want. The decision makers, and the decision makers aren't going to say anything for a long time until it's safe. Like Robbie Bach, formerly of Xbox, he came out with his book in 2017. So I think that's like 10 years after he left Xbox or something like that. So there's going to be some time because they got to think about their careers. And if these people are still embedded with Google, like Google's smart. A lot of these people that were affected at that level by these moves, they kept. So you're not going to find out at a serious level what happened for some time. You're not going to find out. The biggest thing I reckon that you're going to find out, like not even Jason Schreier, Google is so, that's why Jason Schreier's expose on Stadia was so horrible, to the point to where after it was said and done, the biggest takeaway that he could focus on was they spent money to get these ports. They could have used that on indie games. Like that was the biggest takeaway from his expose that he could derive from that. And that's what he rolled with on Twitter. That's why Jason Schreier, who's great at plucking this information, couldn't get anything substantial. The only thing that he got is something that he reported at the beginning, is that Stadia fell short of their goals. He reported that at launch, and he just repurposed that in his thing. Shout out to Business Insider, who got more specific numbers. They didn't just, Jason Schreier originally said hundreds of thousands. They fell short hundreds of thousands. Business Insider made it specific. They said around 250,000 they fell short by the 14th month after launch. What you're going to discover is you're going to find out that Stadia, the biggest thing that you're going to find out factually is who these companies are that they decided to partner with. And close off their technology too. That's the biggest thing you're going to find out. Stadia NDAs bring fear. It brings fear to the gods. I've never seen anything like it. And again, like I said, what they've done, which was wise, is they retained all of the vital people that was part of that decision-making process. So you're not going to get anything substantial. You're going to get hearsay. You're going to get conjecture. It's going to be dressed up nice, and people are going to talk about it. But for my fact-finding people, you're not going to get anything substantial. Shout out to Christopher Torres. There's a lot of podcasts I listen to think that Luna is next. Cloud gaming is Xbox and nvidia to them. Well, that's what they want. That's what they want because they hate the fact of a dedicated cloud platform. I told y'all this wasn't going to stop. And Dusty, you were there. I told y'all to for those that wanted to ride to Stadia's dead gravy train and thought that once Stadia died, that would be the end and everybody would hug and kiss and embrace all the cloud. No, I told y'all it wasn't going to happen. Nobody listened. Now look at it. Let me show you something. Now look at it. Now this is making the news. Microsoft downplays cloud gaming, and this is what everybody on mainstream is talking about. How cloud gaming is bogus. It's a farce. You on the other end of this mic, and me included indefinitely, are fools for endorsing it. I hear this all the time. I told you that it was foolish to run out here, run amok, think that the dissolving of Stadia was going to fix cloud gaming's woes. That was a fool's errand. To believe that. Look at your screen. This is the general conversation, and it doesn't stop here. That's it. But y'all didn't listen. I knew it was coming. But y'all didn't listen. Now look at this. This is the conversation. We told you cloud gaming was foolish. And then now I'm going to ask y'all later in the show, y'all, the savior, which was supposed to be xCloud now, right? And I have nothing wrong with people that are going to xCloud. You have your preferences, I have mine. But your new savior, what are you saying about cloud gaming? They've been caught, quote unquote, red-handed from all the cloud gaming deniers. Wise person told me a long time ago, this is a philosophy I base my life on. Decisions have consequences. Fine. A lot of us foolishly thought that Google would be all in on doing a repivot, and they would see the importance long term of understanding that Stadia is not going to leapfrog any projections as they may have thought originally, but it's still worth the grind. A lot of us foolishly believe that, but there was a lot of facts surrounding the expansion, how they were going to get the games that people wanted, and a whole treasure trove of other stuff that made us believe that Google was into this. The fact that they made investments in the low change porting. But there's that underbelly of Google that's always antsy, like, oh, this blowing to the top. Oh, it's this bringing us $1 billion. Oh, now, oh, let it go. And those that were laser focused on that part, like, if this thing doesn't bring in $1 trillion a second, Google's going to dump it. I'm not going to say anything bad about the product or whatever. I'm just looking at its adoption and how Google gets antsy. And those people were right. They're like, I'm not getting into anything else. Google is still Google. Those people were right. Not anybody else that said, you know, SG&E meant this or this meant that. No. Or Google should close down Stadia. Google's gonna close down Stadia. Oh, but they should, but then they write articles. But Google should close down Stadia. No, they had no idea. I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about, though, is it doesn't end here. And to Dusty's point, the reason why GFN and xCloud are celebrated is because they're extensions of Daddy device gaming. And I'm here to tell you, and they can spin it however they want to. The media wants Daddy device gaming to be on top because that's how they get their perks. That's their bargaining chips. That's their currency. And if cloud gaming takes over, that takes that away. And they don't want their bargaining chips to just be gift cards. They're attached to holding that 4090 in the camera. Oh, look at this thing. This thing is, they're attached to that Daddy device. That's what it's all about. That's what it boils down to. It's not going to end. Now Luna's going to be the next one. And they're going to chip away behind the scenes at xCloud. Then if they're successful and they've soured everybody on Luna, then they're going to come for xCloud. Well, Xbox, why don't you just make a damn console? This is stupid. This is silly. Y'all even said that this is going to take time. Just as money that you're wasting that you could be spending on getting us more games. That's going to be the argument. And if they're successful there, they might leave GFN alone. Because GFN has, they have had no choice. They've come out and they said, look, this is just an extension of our hardware. They didn't say, oh, it's immature yet, but I don't need hardware. No, GFN said the opposite. No, we need hardware. But for those that can't access it, here goes our cloud gaming platform. So I told you this is what's going to happen. And this is why this is going to be a subject in our discussion today. Because people don't listen. All right. Luna is definitely a part of cloud gaming. Absolutely. Wonder how Booster Ward is faring stateside. Yeah, good question. I paid for Booster Ward today and canceled immediately. Oh, golly, Jesus Christ. There's some good things about Booster Ward. We're in the process of trying it out as well. Data should help drive decisions, but not used to make decisions. Yeah, I'm Crow Resident. I'm with you. Yeah, he's in the house. Ray Sherrod. It wasn't terrible for me, but it wasn't GFN priority quality either. Seemed a bit better than xCloud in my experience. Oh, we got Purple Haze in the house. She says it's not so much about downloading, waiting. It's about the storage. I don't know. Just seeing storage just bothers me. Yeah, it's both. But more prevalent for me is the waiting. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I'm annoyed by the waiting. Did you apologize to those that said, no, I didn't apologize to everybody because everybody else was wrong except for those that said that, look, it has nothing to do with the quality of the product. I'm not saying that the product is bad. I'm not saying that it can potentially do this or do that. All I'm saying is that Google, if they look at this and they don't see this immediately at the top of the food chain, supremely, they're going to lose attachment to it. Those people, I've said, you know what? Because they were basing it off of just Google's habits. They weren't trying to lie and say that that Stadia was the worst performing cloud gaming. That's a lie. The state, out of just looking at cloud platforms, nobody was playing Stadia. That's a lie. Using Google Trends for crying out loud, that was a lie. That SG&E was the sign that that was a lie too. Those are just focused on the habits of Google when it comes to things not meeting the original expectations. Those are the people that said, you know what? Okay, you got me. Okay, you got me. That's it. But everybody else, because it was a non-educated guess. And it's really two things that you had to guess from. Is Stadia going to stay alive, or is it going to, or is it going to be closed? And it was when you have just simply two options to guess from, and your guess happens to be the thing that happened, you don't get stripes in my book unless you can give reasons for that happening that align with reality. And the majority of people that said, oh yeah, Stadia's closing down, when you look at the backdrop of their reasoning, it was so way off base. You don't get stripes in my book for that. For those that, again, just kept it focused on the habits of Google, nothing I can say to them. I can't argue with them. I can't. So no. Anybody that just simply said, oh, it's going to the Google graveyard. No, they didn't. No. And they have this Xbox Series potato thing, or yeah. That's a whole nother story about the Series S. We've talked about that, but it's a great point, Dusty. Yeah. Oh, it's messy. It's messy over in Microsoft land right now. But like I said, I tell you guys and gals that the biggest takeaway from this discussion is cloud gaming is going to be a slow grind. Nobody has a silver bullet because it's all about the gamer psyche, and the gamer psyche, it just isn't there yet generally. So relish in it, enjoy it, and love it, but understand that we're a peculiar few right now, and we're gonna, slowly but surely get adopters on, but nobody has a silver bullet. Not even these people. Not even these people, because that's what they told the regulators. All right? Secondly, don't think, because it's a fool's errand if you do, that because now Stadia is closing down, all of cloud gaming's woes are going away. That was just the first target because it was the boldest approach. As Dusty said, now Luna doesn't even exist. The only true ones are the ones that are tethered to dedicated devices, and they're not going to stop there. They're not going to stop until essentially every bold approach to cloud gaming is disintegrated. Why? Because the hardware is their currency. You got to understand agendas, and you got to understand why people do the things that they do. And I know a lot of us are new to this, and we get tantalized by certain conversations, but you got to kick the tires and you got to do your research in this game. You have to, because there's too many liars and too many people with agendas that have microphones. Anybody can buy a damn microphone. You ain't got to take a polygraph to buy a microphone. Okay? Purple says, virtually every department in Google is going through a reorg now from a long-term perspective. Other departments thinking gaming belonged to them more so than where Stadia sat at. And I think she had a continuation. Stadia was also starting to show some limitations. It's similar to the issues that other platforms will face sooner rather than later. I appreciate it. Mr. 1030, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're here, man. We're adopted into cloud gaming. Here, we're liking it. We're believers in it. We're gonna see, we're gonna see how this thing rolls out. But it's important to understand why things are happening the way that they're happening, and not just armchair quarterback this thing. Like, I had a conversation with somebody a few weeks ago. They were like, you out there, you're still capping for Stadia, you're making excuses. They were going to close it down with SG&E and they just prolonged it, It's just a bunch of bibble babble. And they had said, oh, you're too emotionally attached to this, right? And I said, no. I'm not too emotionally attached to Stadia. I enjoy Stadia. I'm disappointed that it's shutting down. I'm emotionally attached to facts. And as long as somebody is misrepresenting the facts, because I feel like that's what the internet should be for. If you're going to be entertained, fine. But we have this virtual library that everybody should have access to. And everybody should be informed and nobody should be misled. That's how I approach this. I know people like to do a whole bunch of silly stuff and get memes off and get clicks and stuff like that on the internet. And that's fine. Y'all do that in y'all circles. There needs to be a space where this virtual library that can educate the masses is left pure. Is left pure for the sake of the people that want to learn. There's some of us that want to learn. There's some of us that just don't want to belong and jerk around and circle jerk each other and pile on people. And there's some of us that want to learn. And this is a great tool, the internet, in order to do that. So give us our space. Get out the goddamn way and give us our space. So anybody that sits there and speaks mistruths, and I know the truth and the evidence is out there, but you're just too goddamn lazy to figure it out, I'm going to be on your ass. And this was a good friend of mine. I had to tell him that. I'll be on your ass. Friend or foe. You're too emotionally attached to this. No, you're too lazy. You're too lazy to absorb the truth. You don't have to like something in order to know how it operates. I don't like tornadoes, but I would like to, I would like to listen to a tornado watcher so they can let me know if the tornado's coming my way and which direction I need to go to flee. Doesn't mean I like tornadoes. On live, got shut down. It's not coming back, but I still wanted to be educated on what happened with on live. So as I'm looking at details from that, I'm educated and I appreciate it. There's no cap. Stadia's gone. It's not coming back. It is what it is. Gaming still goes on. And I've been gaming for 35 plus years. And it's the younger people that just started getting into this. That just started getting pubic hairs. That got pubic hairs last week. That had only been gaming for 3 years. That come out here and say this crazy stuff when they don't understand the lineage. 35 plus years. Some of you don't even have kids that old. Some of you aren't even old your damn selves. I've seen many platforms come. I've seen many platforms fall. It happens. That's why I was able to get on the mic the same day and speak in the mannerism that I was able to speak and keep it moving. Be honest about how I felt and what I thought was going on and what it meant and stuff like that, and keep it moving. I'm not saying it doesn't matter that it's shut down. Again, there's a lot of people left out on the periphery and we're going to help them. More to come on that. But with that being said, I've been doing this for 35 plus years. I've seen a lot. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So let's actually get into some news. Let's do something different. I do want to get into the news, so let's do this. Hold on. Listen, now we got to make this quick because I went over a whole hour on stuff that I didn't even anticipate. So let's get into the cloud news. First and foremost, what the hell? So I got to make this up. Damn you, Nintendo. All right, so Plague Tale Requiem is available via Game Pass if you have the subscription service, GFN, and Switch in the cloud. So here's access to it via Nintendo Switch. Here's access to it via xCloud. And here's a spot from GFN on it. This, depending on platform, in Metacritic has anything between an 83 to 86. It's getting a lot of praise. And I've seen people say that this should be part of the Game of the Year conversation. So shout out. Really my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people are excited to play this. Let us know your thoughts. If you have access to Plague Tale Requiem, how are you playing it? And do you enjoy the game? Let us know. So shout out to Plague Tale Requiem. We got some new titles coming to Xbox Game Pass. Let's make this bigger for the people in the back. We got Amnesia Collection, Cloud Console and PC. Amnesia Rebirth, also on Cloud Console PC. Gunfire Reborn. PlayStation 5. Persona 5 Royale. Signalis, Soma, Phantom Abyss, and Frog Detective, which is only coming to PC. But it's truly amazing to see a lot of these games, the majority of these games now that come to Game Pass now have access in the cloud. That's huge. So for those of you that have access to Xbox Game Pass, let us know in the comment section as well. What are your thoughts on it? Are you enjoying it? Is it a lot better, better than you thought it would be? Were you a former Stadian who did not enjoy it at first, or you didn't believe it worked, but then, quote unquote, was forced to give it a shot and you like it better. Let us know your thoughts. And also, don't forget about our poll where we're asking where people have been playing the majority of their time recently. We have 3 cloud platforms, and then we have others. So definitely check that out. All right, next up is... Oh, no. Were we ready for that yet? Oh, okay. All right. So here, I want to do something different. Lies of P game length has been revealed. And this is the game that is coming directly to Game Pass day 1. That's huge. So this is what I want to do. For those of you that are here, you're getting special treatment. You're now getting a precursor to, and this is our big story today. You're getting a precursor to Lies of P news, courtesy of CDO Daily. You're gonna check it out here first. So let's get right into that, and let's do it. Details are revealed on anticipated game Lies of P, slotted to hit Game Pass day and date. Join us for future xCloud title Lies of P has major detail revealed. It is Cloud Dosage Daily. Let's get into this one. What's up, people? It is your boy, MM2K of PNTS Network and the Cloud Dosage platform, back again with another CDO Daily. Can you do us a huge favor before we get into this one? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications, please, so you know when we're dropping these doses. We appreciate all of y'all. Straight up, you know the deal, you know the reason. And by now, y'all should know the slogan: we are not too proud to ask. So with no further ado, let's reveal to you this story that was brought to us by Pure Xbox. And you know how we do. Let me show you something. All right, so again, this story comes to us courtesy of Pure Xbox, and it reads: Lies of P game length revealed ahead of Xbox Game Pass launch. The story continues as follows. We've been keeping a close eye on Souls like Lies of P since it was revealed for Xbox Game Pass. With the game looking pretty promising so far, well, thanks to new Prankster 101 interview with the game's director, Lies of P's overall length sounds rather promising as well. Lies of P director Choi Ji-won has revealed that the upcoming Game Pass adventure will be around 30 hours long, and that's just for the core campaign. Ji-won says players can expect the playtime to double around 60 hours in order to see and do everything Lies of P has to offer. Side content included, good stuff. The chat also revealed a few other tidbits about Lies of P in development and process. Souls-like has been in the works for about 3 years, and the team is already having an expanded pack of DLC planned for post-launch. Back in August, we were treated to a good 15 minutes of uncut Lies of P gameplay, and we came away impressed over at Pure Xbox by what they saw, especially the game's visual direction. You can expect this one to hit Xbox Game Pass in 2023. So amazing stuff nonetheless. Lies of P is a very anticipated game. Looks great stylistically. A lot of people are in heavy anticipation of this one. What do you think? Are you excited to see this game come to Xbox Game Pass? And really, with Xbox Game Pass being the only place in the cloud. Also, what do you think about the campaign length? 30 hours to complete, 60 hours to do everything. Is Souls-like games as described here, is it, your taste, or is it something that you enjoy? Let us know all that in the comment section, as well as are you satisfied with playing this game in the cloud on xCloud? Do you want to see it somewhere else? Let us know everything. With that said, that's it from your boy. As always, let me know what you think about what I had to say in the comment section below. Like I always say, who cares what I think? But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below. Follow us. Those links will lead you to Broadband Bullies, PNTS Network, Heart Not Digital Culture, and yes, to Cloud Dosage. For everybody that checked this out, we appreciate you. Thanks. And have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace. All right, everybody. Well, that was your preview. Not really your preview, your first look at the Cloud Dosage video on Lies of P. What do you guys think about this game, man? When it was coming to Stadia, it was first announced coming to Stadia via a press release, but then subsequent information kind of removed it. And I don't know if that was because at its official announcement, Xbox struck the deal with them, this Game Pass deal. They were in the works with that, and that took it away from Stadia. If it just got omitted for whatever reason, who knows? But I know a lot of former Stadia gamers were excited to play it when it came on the platform. Are you still excited to play it on xCloud? Maybe doing it. And again, how big is it that this thing is coming day and date? You know what I mean? So, with that said, let's get back to the chat. Hold on one second. I got a social. I'm sorry. For some reason, my chat isn't showing up. Okay, there we go. Purple A says Stadia also was starting to show some. Oh no. Okay, I already read that one. Shout out to Purple with her input as always. It's always appreciated. Christopher Torres says I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why we're still talking about Stadia at this point. I see no meaning for this. Hey, Geek, do you want to give him the speech that I gave on Thursday? Lord Jesus. Okay, all right. And y'all know I love y'all, and y'all my what do you call it? Y'all my old dirty blaster brothers, man. We got to get back on some Division 2. I totally missed the global event yesterday. Here's the thing, Chris. And I get it, and everybody has their different tastes or have their different mindsets. Like, I know a lot of people are upset that Stadia is closed down, and they just want to move on. They don't want to dawn on it. You know what I'm saying? It may depress them, upset them, and they just want to move on. They just want to pivot from it. They're done with it because just hearing about it irks them. I get it. But we got to understand that may be some of us. That is not everybody. And it's my job, I feel, or my responsibility, not a job, because a job you got to do regardless so you get your paycheck. It's my responsibility to address, nurture, and conversate with everybody that's going through this process. It's still kind of fresh. It's not even been a full month yet, or has it? It may have been. And I'm not just coming out here and just making stuff up about Stadia to talk about it. You don't understand the amount of conversations that I have with people about Stadia. So it's still relevant in the cloud specter. And on the flip side of that, Chris, what I get is I get people say, well, why did you abandon Stadia so much? I don't get it. It's still around till January. And I got to say to them, well, look, if you're we'll still have Stadia content, we'll still have Stadia streams, here and there. But you got to understand, the bulk of the community, they're trying to find the next platform. So it's a balance, Chris. The balance is, look, we're not going to sit here and do 90% Stadia streams, even though the platform is still around. People are trying to just caught people off guard. It's throwing them in a bad way, which I think you can relate to, or you could understand. But then there's a balance to that. There are people as well that still are trying to talk through the process and are trying to understand what happened. So I'm not just going to float to one side or the other, because this is all relevant in the cloud space. So yeah, at times we will bring up Stadia related information. And for my people that still want a majority Stadia focus, I tell you, we just can't do that, because that's just not a logical place for the platform, because we got to cover all these platforms, and we got to let people know what's accessible for them and what's a good supplement. So I hope that everybody understands that even though when we wake up, the blood that we pump in all of our veins is red, heart has similar muscles, but our minds are not wired the same way. And hopefully as gamers, this is one thing that I'm a big advocate on. One thing as gamers is we try to sympathize with other gamers. That lack of sympathy for fellow gamers is why we as cloud gamers get ridiculed. Because just like how there's this notion of, why don't you all just do this, or why don't you all just do that when it comes to talking about Stadia or doing Stadia content, the mainstream gamers like Cold Blood Sensei say, why are y'all even talking about cloud? Give it up. Your boldest approach is done. You guys are fools. It doesn't make any sense to me to do. You understand? And what this platform does is we try to attack that siloed approach. It's the same reason why, with even some of my closest friends, when Stadia was having issues with 60 frames per second, and some of us were out there like that, this ain't cool, this is a problem, and people were like, oh, you making a big deal out of anything. I had to ask. I said, please, can you guys stop with, because that's not being mindful of the other gamer. It's part of my psyche. I'm used to thinking outside of my laces, and I'm hopeful that we all can do that. And I get it if there's a certain section, because I do it all the time. If there's a certain section, I'm not here for clicks or, consistent views or anything. That doesn't, we're here as a service. We're here to do this, for people. So we're scrambling, trying to get content together to help cover the bevy of services out there. We also do that to get memberships. People get them rewarded again. We announced that the membership rewards are coming back in November. So we operate more like a service. So if you go like, oh, that whole Stadia thing doesn't relate to me, let me tune out. I get it. Or, oh, they're not talking about Stadia right now, and I'm still playing Stadia. Let me tune out. I get it. I understand. I see the numbers. I know, but you know what I mean? But again, this is a platform that's predicated on understanding and trying to be a service for our target demo, and that is the cloud gamer that wants to be educated. And also now we're adding to the bucket, those that are looking for assistance to try to figure out where to move next. So that's why we do what we do. Now, that was the much nicer version that I gave you, Chris, opposed to my homie Geek to Sneak. Geek to Sneak's probably like, you didn't come at me that much. You ain't come at him like he came at me. But get it. I get it. People want to just be done with the subject and move on. But that's not everybody. Hopefully we can understand that, because it's that same approach to things to why people like my homie Cold Blood is up here and he's laughing. He's laughing his ass off. He's having a good old time ripping us a new one in the chat. But deep down inside, if you were to give Cold Blood some truth serum and ask him questions, he thinks that we're idiots. He thinks that we're dumb. He said it just doesn't make any sense. Just go buy a freaking console and play it. Why are you guys putting yourself through this torture? It's the same mentality. So hopefully I explained that good. All right, so we got that out of the way. Let me see here. We got that out of the way. The last piece is oh, yeah, it's this. So we already talked about it. Microsoft downplays cloud gaming importance in answer to CMA's concerns. Before I read this, I really want to focus on this, but there's a section here in this article that I was reading where it says Microsoft calls cloud gaming immature technology. Tell that to Geforce now. Let me see here. Oh, come on, get out of here, ads. Oh, come on, get out. Damn you, Google. Damn you, Google. Now I can't even read the damn. Come on, can we move this? Oh my God. Thank you. Oh no, I can't even read it now. Let me refresh. This is absurd. Jesus Christ. Like, move it over here to the side or something. Oh man, I should have highlighted it. It says, furthermore, Microsoft alleges that consumer adoption of cloud gaming remains low and aggressively competing against other cloud competitors would set back the adoption of the technology. Do you guys honestly believe that they weren't aggressively trying to compete? Like, I remember Phil Spencer going on multiple interviews and telling us that he does not trust Amazon and he doesn't trust Google. And those were cloud platforms. He also, from what I understand, there were certain deals that were struck, particularly to rob opportunities of the other cloud platforms. And then we know this Activision Blizzard deal, I mean, isn't just to make Xbox whole. Because if that was the case, look, here's the baloney about this. If they weren't trying to compete with other cloud platforms, then you would see Xbox PC games on GFN and Boosteroid. Like, you've even seen PlayStation games on GFN, even if temporary. There's another PlayStation game, The Uncharted Legacy, that's on Boosteroid. That's what you would expect to see if they weren't trying to compete with other cloud platforms. So my question is, do y'all believe that? It continues to say the company also alleges that cloud gaming is new immature technology, with consumers choosing to download their games and play locally. However, this last point is seemingly disingenuous, as companies like Google Stadia have risen and fallen in short time. Cloud gaming has been around. Moreover, companies like Netflix are looking to jump into cloud gaming, while nvidia is holding strong with Geforce Now. We have also seen rumors about an expansion of Microsoft's cloud accessibility through a dongle codenamed Keystone, but what happens there remains to be seen. My other question is to think about, and I'd like to hear your responses in the chat. And then this isn't the big story anymore. I need to change this. This is now the discussion. Do you guys think that? No, I'm gonna hold that. Just remember that. What was said there, because I thought that was interesting. Here goes the story. As you might be aware from WCCF Tech, as you might be aware if you're a regular watcher, that UK's Competition and Markets Authority has expressed concern that Microsoft's potential acquisition of Activision Blizzard might foreclose rivals such as Sony in a growing cloud market. As such, they recommend deeper investigation into the massive deal worth $70 billion. It also says cloud gaming is new immature technology, which CMA has recognized faces significant challenges, particularly on mobile devices. While this may grow, particularly on mobile devices, adoption is not expected to be as rapid as it requires a significant change in consumer behavior. Research published by the CMA show that both worldwide and in the UK, where cloud gaming apps users had a choice between a provider, native or web app on Android, around 99% of users use the native app, with 1% user using the web app or a combination of the web native app. Microsoft and many industry experts expect the gamers on PC and console will continue to download the vast majority of the. Okay, so again, this is the stuff that we've been saying for a long time, right? Now Microsoft is forced to be in a position to where they got to take the glitter and the rhinestones off, and they got to tell you the stone cold truth. This is going to be a slow adoption here. It's growing rapidly, for such a niche service, but for it to get full saturation, it's going to take some time. But hearing that, how does that make you feel? Do you feel that maybe? And I'm gonna say this. A lot of people are siding with the belief system that xCloud was fluffing it up to the consumer, and they're being honest with CMA. I'm curious to hear what you feel. But now that you see this, these stone cold facts from Microsoft on their take on cloud gaming, are you optimistic now? If you're a new xCloud adopter, are you optimistic now that they're going to drive home the future of cloud gaming and they're going to do it soon? Or is it that you just enjoy what they offer now, you're not expecting too much? Or were you just looking for a safe haven from cloud gaming solely because of Stadia shutdown? Let us know. Hold on one second. Let us know in the comment section. All right, let's continue on. It says Dead by Daylight I brought through Epic, can't play it. It automatically goes to Steam, small stuff like that. Streaming is fine. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. Why did it take my conversations all the way to the top? Cold Blood says, damn, I didn't play a single one of those, but do you have some that are your absolute top 3 best of all time? Let me see. Gaming is a selfish hobby, but gaming is also to an extent a privileged hobby. You have to have a big box and a big screen. A lot of the same people that knock cloud also knock mobile and even free to play. Yeah, and I agree with Purple on this. Yeah, jokes on them is going to, yeah, like by the time my son, who's 16 right now, by the time he's in the average target average gamer demographic, which is early 30s, this is all going to be silly. Like, they're gonna laugh. Those old bastards. They used to dedicate themselves to a box. They're gonna laugh at this. Like this whole PlayStation, Xbox, like the console part of the argument. I'm not talking about the ecosystem or you know what I'm saying? The platforms, what they provide. I'm talking about the whole console part of it. It's going to be laughed at. It's going to, you know, you're going to have some people that I feel are going to dedicate themselves to like hardware like PC. I think PC is going to stay around. They're going to dedicate themselves to PCs, but then they're definitely going to use cloud gaming when they're on the go. I think the most hardcore people at some point in time, I still think we're a full 15, 20 years away before the general consumer doesn't need hardware. I still think, I think 10 years from now, you're going to start to see like maybe a 60-40, 70-30 split between hardware and cloud. And then I think an additional 5 to 10 years from that, again, when my son is in his early 30s or whatever, you're gonna see where the general gamer, like 80, 90% plus, they're in the cloud. Because everything is going to be running from the cloud. Dude, you're not going to, hard drives and all the other stuff, everything's going to be regulated to the cloud. So, yeah, I totally agree with Purple. This is where gaming is headed. And people don't like it, but they better toughen up and deal with it. Because in some cases, there are people who only have fixed income and have limited hardware. They also have big families. There are people who only have a phone. Yeah. It's two-sided. They both will exist. And I get to where there's console gamers that are out there in rural America where they have like the crappiest internet. And those people cannot depend on cloud gaming. But those are the same people that aren't playing Fortnite, that aren't playing Call of Duty, right? These are not the gamers that are pushing gaming forward. Not to say that they shouldn't be serviced, but these aren't the gamers that aren't pushing the platform forward. You know what I mean? So I think everybody should understand that and should realize that it's going to take some time before, psychologically, before this comes out, just like DRM. DRM was heavily pushed. They tried to heavily push it in 2013. Everybody said, hell no, we won't go. Almost 10 years later, nobody cares about DRM. PlayStation 5 digitals are selling like hotcakes. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. All right. Well, with that said, everybody, that's it from your boy. I appreciate everybody coming out today. I appreciate everybody, being honest with your conversations. Shout out to my brother, Christopher Torres. Chris, I hope I wasn't too harsh. And Geek, somebody, Lo-Fi, after we went live, shout out to Lo-Fi Monk. Lo-Fi rapped to me and said, bro, I think you came at Geek a little too hard. And I don't mean that, this is how I am. This is how I talk. I didn't mean to come at Geek too, but understand this platform. This platform doesn't, like, there are certain peripheries that we will not journey to. We're fact-based. But at the same time, you gotta understand that our family makes up, just like your family, makes up a different bunch of people. And, everybody's not wired the same. So the thing that least interests you may be someone else's biggest interest, and you know what I mean? And the supporters of this platform and the people that made us who we are, we owe something to them because we were like, hey, look, Stadia is the way to go. There's some, wait till you see what's going to happen. And the Stadia people felt that way. It's just unfortunately, I don't think Google had the right approach as far as how they handled this thing, and those things didn't come to fruition. And there's a lot of people that still have to be talked through this process. Like you'd be surprised. Like you would think by now, the conversations and the DMs that I get about Stadia and people just wanting to talk would die down, and they haven't. Now I'm over it. Disappointed still, you know, when I deal with other platforms, there's some things about Stadia. I'm over it. But at the same time, they were willing to support this platform and make it greater for all of you, just like how everybody else did. I can't shut the door on them. Just like I can't shut the door on you when my friends tell me that this is idiotic. I'm wasting my time here. Seriously. And when it comes to what I could get for myself, that's what they're basing it off of. They're like, look, it's cranking on the console side. It's cranking on the PC side. Like, why are you wasting your time? This is a waste of time, a waste of resources. You could be blowing up over here. Like we're blowing up over it. We're like Scrooge McDuck swimming in gold coins. What are you doing over here? But I'm not, you know, I'm not going to be siloed like that, because this is something that we all enjoyed. We all came together, and it's bigger than clicks and views and bucks. So hopefully we understand that. All right, with that said, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Thank you very much. And until next time, have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace. He said, let's make Stadia great again. You killed me, bro.